In this video I will show you how everyone can benefit from the latest Sitecore 10 containers technology when using Sifon. And the beauty of Sifon is that it automates most of the things for you, and especially those that require quite rich scripting or console interaction, which is something Docker and container about. So I have an instance of Sifon up and running. So let's go and take a look what we've got. So with containers we have profiles, and that works exactly in a similar way the normal profiles work for Sifon, where you specify parameters, but notice there is a magical set defaults button at the bottom left corner. Clicking this will pre-populate the values with the default settings of getting started template coming out from Sitecore. So this is known GitHub repository, and this is the folder that, namely this folder contains XP0 sample setup, which is probably the very first people start their acknowledgement with container technology with. And I'm quite happy with the settings. Just the last thing to point your attention is that you may use your own repository. You may use any folder within that repository. The only condition is that this folder contains a Docker Compose file and environmental file. So you may have as many as you want, and a unique combination of these two creates a profile here. Let's create a profile. And these settings will be applied to the scripts and plugins further ahead. So I'm quite happy with the settings by default. I save them, the profile created, and I can go ahead. So this becomes now my currently selected profile. Next, if you know, Sifon operates plugins, and under plugin menu you will see plenty of them. But as some of you might heard, plugins are community governed on a separate repository, so I need to clone them first. So basically, clicking this menu item, what will do, it will clone the plugins from a separate repository into Sifon, so that I will have all these wonderful plugins coming with Sifon. And of course, it will include container plugins, which we have here. At this stage, normally you can go ahead, but my machine, this virtual machine I'm running, it does not even have Hyper-V installed. It does not have all the required software. So if we take a look, nothing is here. And especially for these cases, there is a specific plugin. Let me show you. The folder called Container Prerequisites, and there are two prerequisite steps. The first one, what it will do, it will enable Hyper-V, download all the dependencies. It will also install containers for Windows. It will install Windows system for Linux. And it will install Docker Desktop. So it will do all the things just in magical one click, and finally it will reboot your machine. So that then you, after reboot, you can go to the step number 2, which is simple, just switching to Windows containers, because Sitecore requires Windows containers. And once that's done, you go into instance, and the profile from the previous step, the settings from this profile, they will be applied to these commands. So the first one, it will download the code and prepare Sitecore 10, and it will use exactly those repository and folder settings for downloading the folder. And this is basically a wrapper over Docker Compose app, so you can do any commands, prerequisites, whatever you want. And once again, it will run in a context of a specific folder where you have Docker Compose, and you will be able to switch between all these numerous profiles just in a matter of a drop down from profile screen here. Okay, and this is simply stop. It's like Docker compose stop. Once again, you can do any number of custom pre-action, post-action, whatever you want. And of course, if you have your own scripts or anything to share, you always can pull request Sifon plugins repository, which is sitting next to the main repository, and I will be happy to pull request your changes and announce them as a part of this plugin system. Anyway, that was everything you need to know to start with containers and Sifon for Sitecore 10, and the rest of this video will be just in action. I will show you how it works in action. So Windows has restarted and currently working on updates from Hyper-V and other things. What is interesting is that in this particular example I am running Hyper-V within another Hyper-V, and just for those curious who want to do the same, it's not something that you can get by default, and if you want to, you'll need to execute a PowerShell command on a host machine which enables Hyper-V and virtualization for that particular virtual machine that you're going to run. So I will put this command into the description under this video, so you'll be able to benefit from it. Anyway, the script has done much of the things, so it's still working on the features. It still does update. Actually, it has done restart twice, so this was the second time it has restarted. So we're nearly there, 90, 100%, and once there, I need to run Sifon once again and continue the prerequisite step by switching Docker into a Windows container mode. Docker desktop switching, yeah, it works. Now you see it tells me switch to Linux containers, which means it's already in Windows containers. And from that point I can go and get the code from Sitecore repository, which points to my current profile, and just the further is only a matter of a few clicks. Oh yeah, of course, I am required a Sitecore license for running container, and this license, you may know, this license is stored encrypted in environmental variable, so I'll tell it where it can take the license. So now it prepares all the variables for environmental file for me. And you may see at the bottom, Sifon explains what it does under the bonnet. So now it's installing Sitecore Docker tools. And it's done. So the last step will be simply to run a wrapper over Docker Compose. And if you have ever run containers and Sitecore, you will recognize this screen. So because we don't have any underlayer images, this script starts downloading them, and once ready it will show you the list of containers with green labels saying done right hand side from the container names. And once you close this window, the browser will pop up and show you the Sitecore CM website you just have installed. So basically that's it. I will not wait for this long process to complete, and there's nothing different from what you normally run. I only wanted to show how Sifon simplifies your installation and configuration steps of the prerequisites, and how easy you can switch between these profiles folders. That's it. Thank you very much.